Hello everyone, welcome to It's Crochet O'Clock. My name is Stephanie and today we are starting on part 1 of the Blue Happy Crochet Along. I can't get this very large square all into film. It is 20 inches across and it is glorious. Very, very, very beautiful. I am going to be working in Stylecraft Special DK and I will be using a 4mm crochet hook. All of the information for this crochet along will be down in the description box below. You will also find the hosting group for the crochet along, which is a great place to be because you can join and you can share your photos of your progress. You can look at other colorways that other folks are doing. It's just a good time all the way around, so make sure you check that out. Let's go ahead and get right into this, shall we? To begin, we are going to make a magic ring. Now, I am using a different color yarn because my first color is white, and I'm going to need to show you guys how to do an invisible join towards the end of this. And it's really, really super hard to see in white yarn. So I am going to do this portion in a different color for you guys, but when I come back for the next round, the colors will be proper. So I'm a fan of the double magic ring, and to work that, you are going to spin your yarn around your 2 fingers 3 times. Grab your tail between your thumb and your index finger. You'll see you have 3 loops here. You're going to slip your hook under the first 2. Grab that 3rd loop, pull it back, and then turn just a little bit. Should be able to move that loop on your hook freely. Spin it back around to the back, and you'll see this right here. That's your working yarn. We're going to grab that working yarn, pull that through, and that is your magic ring. At this point you can drop, remove your 2 fingers. I always like to put my ring finger in there to stabilize it. So we're going to chain 1. That does not count as a stitch. We're going to place 8 half double crochets in the ring. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. So we need to do that 7 more times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now at this point you're going to want to pull up just a little bit so you don't lose your work, because we're going to close the ring, but take care not to close it super tightly. A mistake that a lot of people make working the double magic ring is they just want to jerk on this tail. That's going to be bad news for you. You're either going to break your yarn or it's not going to move at all. Instead, just pull very slowly on it. Look over here to the left side at these 2. Pull slowly. You see how the bottom one is moving to the left? We're going to pull on that one from the right, and what that's going to do is that's going to close that other loop behind it. Make sure you're not closing it too tightly. Now you can pull on the tail. Okay. Push that tail to the back. Now it's time for the invisible join. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your yarn. Make sure that you leave enough room and pull up. It's kind of scary the first time, but it's okay. You'll survive, I promise. So you're going to grab your darning needle, thread your darning needle, and then you're going to locate your first half double crochet. And this might be a little confusing because we did have that chain 1 at the beginning, and that chain 1 can kind of mess with you sometimes. So if you're uncertain, just count back. We know that this is our 8th. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this right here is 8. So that means that this right here, which kind of looks like a stitch, is that chain 1, and we're going to ignore that. So this is the first half double crochet that we made. For an invisible join, you're going to work in the top of the stitch the second stitch. See, these are the V's from the second stitch. That's the V from the first stitch. Insert your darning needle from the back into that second stitch, just through the V there, and pull it through. This yarn should rest on top of the original stitch. You're going to have to pinch these together just a little bit so it'll end up being the same size as the other stitches. There you go. Now come back over to this last stitch. Here is the V for it, the top of the stitch. You're going to insert your needle into that V. And when you come down, make sure that you're going under that third loop as well, right there. So just go straight down there. Get down there. There we go. See, now we've created another top. This again is that chain 1 that's poking out. So the last step for the invisible join is to come over here and go behind this new V that we've created and go straight down the stitch. There you go. So that is an invisible join, and the reason that I've shown you this is because we have a lot of back post stitches in this square. You're going to want to do this because back post stitches push the V at the top of our stitches, they push that forward, and whenever you slip stitch to the beginning stitches, you always have a little tiny knot there. And whenever we work back post stitches in the next round, it's going to push that knot forward, and that's not going to be pretty for your project. So you're going to want to get used to making those invisible joins because it's going to be super important when working through this project if you don't want knots to show. Let's move on to round 2. Okay, round 2, you'll notice that we have not woven in the ends. That's the way it's supposed to be. We're going to weave those in after we get finished doing round 2. Now round 2 begins with a standing puff stitch. We're going to be working in the back loops for this entire round. In the back loop, if you look here, you can see that the stitch at the top has a V. This is the back loop. We're going to split the stitch. With a standing puff stitch, we are not going to yarn over. You're just going to insert your hook into the stitch. Now something that you're probably going to want to look for, and it's going to be very, very hard to see on this, is the third loop. You're going to want to utilize that third loop for stability. So then you'll yarn over and pull up, and you're going to want to pull up to about the height of a double crochet. So that was pass 1. We need to do 4 passes. So we will yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up. That's 2, 3, 4. Yarn over. Oh, me count these, make sure we've got them right. There should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In a regular puff stitch, there will be 9 loops on your hook, but because this is a standing, we only have 8. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 8 of those loops, and then we're going to chain 1. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch, but it's necessary to close off the puff stitch. And we're going to chain 1 again. Now we're going to work a puff stitch in the next stitch as well. So we're going to yarn over, insert your hook between the V because we're working in the back loop, and then make sure that you are slipping under that 3rd loop for stability. Grab the yarn, pull up to about the height of a double crochet. That was pass 1, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up the loop. That was 2, 3, and 4. Now we should have 9 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Hooray! Yarn over, pull through all 9, and then chain 1 to close. Chain 1 again. I'm going to show you the puff stitch one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook between the V stitches. Make sure you are grabbing that 3rd loop. Yarn over, pull up. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all the loops, chain 2 close, and then chain 1 again. So you're going to work 5 more of these, and you can see here, see how these front loops are being left, and it's more of a decorative piece right here. If you slip stitch, then you'll have a knot hanging out on top here because of how we're working. But the invisible stitch is going to make this all nice and pretty and decorative as it was intended. So you're going to work 5 more puff stitch. Make sure you're chaining to close and a chain in between. When you get over here, you will slip stitch to the top of this standing puff stitch that we made. Fasten off and then weave in all of your ends from round 2 and round 1, and I will see you for round 3. To begin round 3, we are going to start with a standing single crochet in any chain 1 space. So it doesn't matter which one, you can just pick one. So we already have our slip knot on our hook. We're going to insert into that chain space, yarn over, pull up. There's 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 2. Now in this next stitch, this is a puff stitch, we're going to work a front post single crochet. So you're going to wrap your hook around the back of the puff stitch, grab a loop, pull it up, yarn over, pull through all 2. Pull through both loops. And then next we have a chain 1 space, so we are going to place 3 single crochets there. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to front post single crochet around this puff stitch. And then 3 single crochets in the chain 1 space. 1, 2, 3. And that's your repeat for this round. You're just going to front post single crochet around each puff, place 3 single crochets in the chain 1 space. When you get back over here to where we started, you only need to put 2 more single crochets here. And then you're going to slip stitch to this first standing single crochet, but do not fasten off because we're going to stay in this color for round 4, and I will see you there. To begin round 4, we are going to chain 3, 2, 3, that counts as our first double crochet. Now in this next stitch, we are going to place 2 double crochets. So there's 1, and 2. Now a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochet in the next, now a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, and 3. Now in the next stitch, you guessed it, 2 double crochets. So that is your repeat for this round. You are going to continue on in the next 3 stitches. You'll place a double crochet, then after that in the following stitch 2 double crochets in that same stitch, 3 double crochets, 2 in the same stitch, 3 double crochets, 2 in the same stitch, all the way until you get back over here. Don't forget that when you get back over here, you're going to land with just 2 double crochets left to work, and that's because this first double crochet, or this first chain 3, that counts as a double crochet. And you're going to want to work an invisible join here because our next round is going to work in, it's going to be post stitches. So you're not going to want to knot over here. Make sure that you work an invisible join. I will see you for round 5. Round 5 is the foundation row for our folding stitches. If you've never worked folding stitches before, you are in for a treat. They take 2 rounds or rows to complete. Our first stitch is going to be a front post standing treble. So to begin that, we are going to yarn over twice on our hook, hold it with your thumb, it doesn't matter what stitch you go into, insert your hook from the front, wrap around the post of that stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is our first front post treble standing. In the next stitch, we are going to work a front post treble. So you'll yarn over twice, insert front to back, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is this round, the entire way around. You will have 40 front post trebles by the time you get around to the end. Now when you get to the end, you are not going to slip stitch to that first standing stitch. Don't do that. Just hang out, come back to the video, we'll meet up for round 6, and I'll show you the second portion of folding stitches. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, round 6. This is the second round for our folding stitches. As you can see, I have not slip stitched to the top of this standing front post treble. We're not going to do that for this. We are going to chain 1, and then we are going to go into the top. We're going to split this. We're going to grab the back loop, so split through the V, grab the back, and then find the corresponding stitch right here from the previous round, slip into it, and then pull through both of them and single crochet. Oof. Okay, now you're also going to, let me pull up on this so I don't lose this. let's work the next one first and then I'll show you. It's important. Okay, so split through the V, working with the back loop, come to the next stitch. Normally you would only be grabbing the back loop, but since both of them are here, I'm just going to grab them just for stability. Pull through, single crochet. All right, let me pull this out so I don't lose it. Place a stitch marker in your first single crochet, okay? Don't be that person. And this is white, so I'm having issues seeing it. You may too. So here is the first single crochet. Don't be that person, okay? Just put a stitch marker there, because if you don't, you're going to end up messing up and trying to fasten off to your chain one. So just go ahead, save yourself some trouble, place a stitch marker there. Everything will be copacetic when you get to the end. Okay, so in the next stitch, again, we're going to split it. We're going to do the same thing all the way around. We're only grabbing that back loop, working into the corresponding stitch from the round below it, and just working single crochets. It may not look like much right now, but when you get a couple more worked, and this will probably be easier for you to do because you won't have to flip around. Let's just get a couple more going and I'll show you what it looks like. It's a great effect. Corresponding, just make sure that you are going into the corresponding stitch for the stitch that you are working on, because if you get off and you're working in the stitch before it or working in the stitch after it, it's going to make your folding stitches, see, this is what they look like. They're so nifty, but if you're not working in the stitch directly behind it, then they're going to slant one way or the other instead of just being straight folding stitches. So that is important whenever you're working this. So make sure that you're not dropping your hook and that you are working in the stitch directly below it. That's all to this round. There's 40 of them. So you're going to work 40 single crochets in the back loop of round 5, and then also round 4 together. Then when you get back around to the end, you are going to join to the first single crochet, this marked stitch right there, and then fasten off, weave in your ends, and I will see you for round 7. For round 7, we are going to join with a standing single crochet in any stitch. It does not matter which stitch at all, and you are going to be working in these single crochets that we formed. It's going to be really, really, really easy to want to go into the front loops of these trebles, but don't do that because that's part of the decoration. So we are only going to be working in these single crochets back here. So we're just going to place a standing single crochet in that stitch, and in the next single crochet right here, we're going to make 2 single crochets. Just 1, 2 in the same stitch. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's our repeat. I'm going to show it to you one more time. In the next stitch, 2 single crochets, and then over the next 4 stitches, single crochet in each stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have worked the repeat twice now. You're going to need to do this 6 more times to get yourself back around over here. Except for when you get back over here, you are only going to have 3 more stitches left to work because our first stitch was a standing single crochet. When you work your way back over here, you are going to slip stitch to the top of the standing single crochet, but don't fasten off because we're going to stay in this color for round 8 and I will meet you there. To begin round 8, we are going to chain 1, that does not count as a stitch, and we're going to place a single crochet in that same stitch. Now we are going to skip 2 stitches, and in this 3rd stitch we are going to place 7 trebles. So that's yarn over twice. Insert into that stitch, that 3rd stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches again. Don't forget this first stitch right here because it looks kind of wonky and it might get covered up a little bit from these 7 trebles, but make sure you're skipping 1, 2, and then in the 3rd stitch we're going to single crochet. And that is our repeat for this round. I'm going to walk you through it one more time. We're going to skip 2 stitches, and in this 3rd stitch we're going to place 7 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip 2 stitches and single crochet. So you are going to repeat this 6 more times. Work your way back around here to the first standing, or to the first single crochet rather. So sorry, that's right here. The first single crochet, you're going to join to it and then fasten off and secure your ends, and we will meet back here for round 9. For round 9, we are going to find the last treble of any one of these little fans right here. Here is my last treble in the fan, and we are going to join with a standing back post double crochet. So you're going to yarn over on your hook, insert your hook from behind, wrap around the post, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then finish off your double crochet as normal. Now in the next stitch, which was the single crochet, we're going to work a front post double. So this time we are coming from the front of the work, wrapping around the post. Now over the next 7 stitches, we are going to work 7 back post double crochets. So again, we're coming from behind the work, Grabbing that yarn. There's one. Oop. I slipped there. Let's try this again. One. There we go. Pull these around. These can be a little bit tricky, but the effect that they give is well worth it if you're not continually dropping your yarn like I am today for some reason. And then we have one more. And this stitch right here is the same as this stitch. It's a single crochet in between the fans. So we are going to front post double crochet. And that is your repeat for this round. That's what it will end up looking like. So you're going to continue this pattern all the way around. You'll have 7 back post double crochets, then 1 front post double crochet, 7 back post double crochets. Work your way all the way back around. When you get over here, you are going to fasten off to this first, well, you're going to slip stitch or invisible join, whichever one is your preference, to this first standing double crochet, and then fasten off, weave in your ends, and we'll meet back for round 10. To begin round 10, we are going to look for 2 stitches before any front post double crochet here. So there is 2 stitches right there. We are going to work a standing back post double crochet in that stitch. So we're going to yarn over, come in from behind the work there, wrap around that post. It's going to be a bit tricky, obviously, to get into. Grab that yarn and pull it through. There we go. And then complete your back post double crochet. We're going to skip the next stitch, just that one right there. And then in this next stitch, which is going to be that front post double crochet, we are going to work something very decorative, but it's pretty. We're going to start with a 2 double crochet cluster. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're going to pause, then yarn over, insert your hook back into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, you'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Then we're going to chain 2, and then in this same stitch we're going to place another 2 double crochet cluster. So we'll yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pause, yarn over, insert back into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's what it will look like. Now we're going to skip this next stitch and we're going to work 5 back post double crochets over the next 5 stitches. So we're going to yarn over, remember, skip that stitch, come in from behind, grab that, work a double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, This stitch right here is the same as this stitch right there, and that is our repeat. So you're going to do this all over again. You're going to skip the next stitch. You're going to work a 2 double crochet cluster, chain 2, 2 double crochet cluster, all in this same stitch, which is the front post double crochet. Then you're going to skip the next stitch, then work 5 back post double crochets, and you'll be ready to start it all over again. You'll work your way all the way back around, except for on this very last petal here. You are only going to have 4 double crochet, back post double crochets, excuse me, to work, because we started out with this first one. So when you get over here, fasten off and secure your ends, and we will meet back for round 11. For round 11, we are going to join with a standing back post double crochet 2 stitches before any 2 double crochet cluster, okay? So here's the 2 double crochet cluster, 1 and 2. This is what we're going to be working with. So yarn over, come from behind, wrap around that post, grab that yarn, bring it up, and work a double crochet. Now we are going to back post double crochet around the next stitch. We are going to skip this cluster stitch, and in this chain 2 space we're going to put 3 popcorn stitches. You ready? First popcorn, make 5 double crochets in the chain space. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now pull up on a loop, remove your hook, come back to this first double crochet of the 5, insert your hook, grab that loop from the last double crochet and pull it through, and then chain 1. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now we are going to work 2 more popcorns in this same stitch. So 5 double crochets, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop, go back to this first double crochet in the grouping, grab that loop from the last one, pull it through, chain 1. Now you might have to scoot your work over a little bit, but that's okay, we'll get them all in there. Last one, 5 double crochets, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop, go back to the first double crochet in the grouping, grab that last loop, chain 1. There you go, 3 popcorn stitches all in the chain 2 space. Now what we are going to do is we're going to skip this 2 double crochet cluster right here. We've covered it up anyways. And then we are going to back post double crochet around the next 5 stitches. Make sure that you are going around the double crochet and not the cluster. Sorry, this popcorn is covering up, so you're just going to have to trust that I am working a back post double crochet here, because it doesn't want you to see it. There we go. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, So that is what the repeat looks like for this round. You're going to do this 8 more times. Work your way all the way back over here. You will only have 3 more back post double crochets to work here because we started out with 2. And then you are going to join to the standing back post double crochet, fasten off, secure your ends, and we will meet back for round 12. For round 12, we are going to look for the 3rd back post double crochet in any grouping here. So it's the center one because we had 5. We're going to be looking for the center one, and we are going to start with a standing back post double crochet around that stitch. There we go, standing back post double crochet. We're going to back post double crochet around the next stitch. And then we are going to skip the next stitch. Now we are going to work 5 double crochets in the top of each popcorn. So if you look here, a lot of people get confused about this, but remember, we close off popcorn stitches with chain stitches, and you can see here at the top of it, that is actually the chain. See, there is the chain, and there is the chain for that one. So that's where we are going to be placing our 5 double crochets, right there in that stitch. That's the top of the popcorn stitch. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy or enjoyable, but slow and steady wins the race. There we go. Here is 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to move on to the next one. There's the stitch right there. 5 double crochets in there. The first one might be a little bit tricky, but it's okay. Remember, you don't have to, there is no reward for the first one at the finish line. So just take your time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're moving on to the last one. There's the chain space that closed it, so that's where we're going. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we are going to skip the next stitch, which is this back post double crochet here, and we're going to back post double crochet around the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And that is what your repeat for this round looks like you are going to repeat this 7 more times, working all the way back around here, except for you're going to omit the last 2 back post double crochets because we already have them here. You are going to join to the standing back post double crochet and then fasten off, and we will meet back for round 13. For round 13, we are going to lay the base for more folding stitches, and what you're going to look for is you're going to look for the last double crochet in any series of these 15 here that we have done. We are going to work a standing front loop treble. So in the past we have been working, here's the V for the top of the stitch. In the past we've been working in back loops. Now we are only going to be working in the front loop. Now a lot of people like to go in from the top, but whenever I'm working front loops, for me it's always easier if I go in from underneath. So this is a standing front loop treble, so you're going to yarn over twice and then insert your hook, split that V. See how I'm just getting that front loop? Pull your yarn through and complete your treble. Now we are going to skip the next 3 stitches right there, just going to ignore them completely, and over this fan we are going to work a front loop treble in each of these 15 stitches. So that's yarn over twice, and I come up from underneath. It doesn't matter if you come up from underneath or if you come in from above. Whatever you're more comfortable with, it's just fine. It's still going to give the same effect, and also it's going to pull up a loop a little bit. Don't freak out about that. That's normal. As you work around, it is going to situate itself out, I promise. Front loops only for this, guys, because for the next round we're going to need those back loops when we fold these stitches over. Now I could go through all of these front loop trebles with you, but I think it's going to get a bit monotonous because that's all that this round is. In each fan section where we have these 15 double crochets, you're going to place a front loop treble in them. You're going to skip these stitches right here. And then when you get back over here, you will only have 14 front loop trebles to work here because we started here with it. Do not join, don't fasten off, because we're going to fold these over in round 14, and I will meet you back when you are right here. Okay, for round 14, we are going to fold all of these doubles back, and we are going to do that by making the single crochets. So remember, we chain 1, we did not join here, chain 1, and then come over here to this standing front loop treble. Oops, sorry for shaking the camera, didn't mean to. Come in from the top, and we're just going to work in the back loop of this, okay? Now come down here to the corresponding stitch that it's in, and you'll see that the back loop is left there. Insert your hook into that back loop, but also see that third loop right there? You're going to want to pick up that third loop as well, just for stability. Now you're going to work a single crochet, so draw that loop up and single crochet, okay? Here we go again. We're going to split this stitch, back loop only, then on the back, this is the stitch that we're working in. See where it's attached? Here is the back loop, and then the third loop is right there as well. That one's a little bit tricky because it's on the edge, but I will get it eventually. I will get it. I will persevere, and so will you. There we go. Third loop. Pull that pull that through, single crochet. Okay, you also are going to want to come over here to your first single crochet that you made. I'm getting myself mixed up. Let me pull my, okay, so here is the first fold that we did, we are going to place a stitch marker in that single crochet. And we're doing that because by the time we get back around, that chain one is going to look like where we want to attach to, and that's not where we want to attach to. So do yourself a favor, put a stitch marker there, okay, because you're going to need it when you get all the way back around. But that is all that this round is. You're going to do this for every single stitch. Make sure that you are catching the corresponding stitch and that you're not bouncing to different stitches, because if you do that, then your folding stitches are going to lean and you're not going to be happy about that. See how they're folding over and they'll bubble over? So 15 stitches, 15 stitches, work your way all the way back around. You're going to slip stitch to this first single crochet here that we've marked, then fasten off and weave in your ends, and we will meet back for round 15. For round 15, we are going to join with a standing double crochet, and what you're going to look for is the last folding single crochet in any grouping. So that's going to be this one right here. We're just going to place a standing double crochet, if I can get my yarn to work with me. There we go. A standing double crochet. Make sure that you're working in the single crochet, not in the front loop of our folded trebles. Remember, because that's part of the decoration. Now we are going to treble right here in between these two folded stitches, okay? You got yarn over twice, insert between them, just wrap right around that, and then treble. We're going to skip the next stitch because we've kind of just covered it up anyways. We're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So let's find that. Remember, we got to separate these. There we go. We're skipping this one. We're going to double crochet in the next one, and then another double crochet. Then we are going to half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and now we are going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And this double crochet right here is the same as this double crochet right here. So you're going to do this a total of 8 times. You're going to work your way all the way back around. When you get over here, as you're finishing this round, you will only have 1 double crochet right here because we started with a standing double crochet. You're going to slip stitch to the top of the standing double crochet, but don't fasten off because we're going to stay in this color for round 16, and I will meet you there. For round 16, we are going to start by chaining 3. There's 1, 2, and 3. and then we are going to place 2 double crochets in the next stitch. There's 1 and then 2. Now we are going to work 10 double crochets in the next 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now in the next stitch, we are going to work 2 double crochets in the same stitch. There's 1 and 2. Now we are going to work a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and then 3. And that is your repeat for this round. Those 3 double crochets right there are the same as these 3 double crochets. So your next stitch, you're going to have 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Then you're going to work 10 double crochets over the next 10 stitches, then 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches. Continue working that pattern all the way around. You will omit the last 3 double crochets. You're going to join to the top of this chain 3 and then fasten off and secure your ends, and we will meet back up for round 17. For round 17, we are going to start with a standing half double crochet, but we are going to look for the treble from 2 rows back. Here's that treble that we worked. There's 2 double crochets in this treble. You're just going to pick one and place a standing half double crochet in one of those, if my yarn will cooperate with me. And well, that's not looking lovely. Hang on, we can do this. All right. There we go. Half double crochet. Now we're going to half double crochet in the next 6 stitches. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we are going to skip 2 stitches, and in this 3rd stitch we are going to work a 2 double crochet cluster. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pause, yarn over, insert your hook back into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And then we are going to chain 2, and then we are going to work another 2 double crochet cluster in that same space. There's one leg of it, and there is the other leg of it. Okay, now we are going to skip 2 stitches and we're going to repeat that. So 2 double crochet cluster right here, chain 2, and a 2 double crochet cluster. Now we are going to skip 2 stitches, and then we are going to work a 2 treble together. So it's the same premise as the double, only we're going to yarn over twice. And this is in the 3rd stitch. We're skipping 2. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pause, yarn over twice again, go back into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then you are going to chain 2 and then work another 2 treble cluster in that same stitch. See how pretty that's looking? Now we are going to skip 2 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and in this stitch we are going to work a 3 treble cluster. So that's yarn over twice, insert into that 3rd stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2, pause, yarn over twice, back into that same stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2, pause one more time, yarn over twice, back into that same stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2. You'll have 4 loops on your hook, pull through all 4 of them. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then work another 3 treble cluster in that same space. So the exact same cluster that we've just made, we're going to make that again. There we go. Now we are going to skip 2 stitches. We're going to work a 2 treble cluster in that 3rd stitch. Chain 2, 2 treble cluster in that same stitch. And now we are going to skip 2 stitches, and in this 3rd stitch we're going to work a 2 double crochet cluster. Chain 2, and then another 2 double crochet cluster in that same stitch. And now we are going to skip 2 stitches, and then in this next stitch we are going to work another 2 double crochet cluster. Chain 2, and then another 2 double crochet cluster in that same stitch. And now we are going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. In this 3rd stitch, we're going to place a half double crochet. And now we are going to half double crochet in the next 10 stitches. So there will be 11 in total. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. That is your repeat for this round. I know it is a very, very long repeat, but look at how beautiful that is, okay? You are going to repeat this 3 more times, and you will omit the last 7 half double crochets. And when you get to the end, you are going to join to this first standing half double crochet, fasten off, secure your ends, and we will meet back for round 18. For round 18, we are going to join with a standing half double crochet. And we're going to do that 2 stitches before any 2 double crochet cluster. So here's the second stitch before, yarn over, make a standing half double crochet in that stitch. Pause for dramatic effect. Second stitch, half double crochet. All right, there we go. Now we're going to half double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to skip the next stitch. We're going to place 4 half double crochets in this chain 2 space. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in that next chain 2 space we're going to place 4 double crochets. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to skip these next 2 stitches, place 4 double crochets in that chain 2 space. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to skip 2 stitches, and in this chain 3 space here we are going to work 9 trebles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we are going to skip the next 2 stitches here and work 4 double crochets in that chain 2 space. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 2 stitches, work 4 double crochets, in that chain 2 space. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, place 4 half double crochets in the next chain 2 space. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we are going to skip this next stitch and this stitch right here, and we are going to work 10 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that is your repeat for this round. These 2 stitches right here are the same as our 2 starting stitches right here. So you're going to repeat all of that 3 more times. When you get back over here, you are going to join to the standing half double crochet with a slip stitch, but do not fasten off because we are going to stay in this color for round 19, and I will meet you there. To begin round 19, we are going to chain 1. That does not count as a stitch. We are going to place a half double crochet in that same stitch. And then we are going to half double crochet in the next stitch. Now we're going to chain 1. Then we are going to front post double crochet 2 together. So to do that, we are going to yarn over, insert our hook behind this stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to pause, we're going to yarn over again, and now we are going to insert and go behind the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Then we are going to chain 1, and then we are going to work another front post double crochet 2 together, but this one is a little bit different. We are going to go back to this post that we just got finished working around, and that's where we're going to start our next. So pause there, yarn over again, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Now chain 1. We're going to do that once more, but don't forget that we are starting this one on the post that we just got finished working on. So instead of moving to the next stitch, we're still working on the same one. So there's 1, and then over here to this last stitch in this group. There we go. Chain 1, and that is how that looks. Now we are going to do what we just did 3 more times. So we're going to yarn over, wrap behind that first post, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go to the next post, yarn over, pull through 2, and then chain 1, go back to the same post that we just wrapped around, and go to the next post, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1, Go back to that same post. And here we go on the last one. Chain one. One more round to go with this. Yarn over, go around that first post. There we go. Chain one. Go back to the post that we were just working on. Chain one. Same post that we just worked. And chain one. Whew. Now we are going to do the same thing with this fan, only many more times. So yarn over, go around that leg, and then around the next leg. Chain one, go back to that same post that we just worked, and the next. Oh, there we go. Chain one, same post, next post. Chain one, same post, next post. Chain one, same post, and next post. Chain one, same post, next post. Chain one, same post, next post. Chain one, same post, and next post. Chain one. And we got to work back down this way. So you're going to yarn over. We're going to do it again, only in reverse. And work for the next one. Chain one, same post, next post. Chain one, same post, next post. Chain one, and we have to jump to the next one. There's the first post, then we're going to the second post. Chain one, same post that we just worked on, and the next post. Chain one, same post that we just worked on, and next post. Chain one, moving to this last grouping here, first post, and next post. Chain one, same post that we just got finished working, and the next post. Chain 1, same post that we just got finished working, and the next post. Phew, look at that. All right. So now we are going to skip this next stitch right here. We're going to skip that. We're going to place a half double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to 9 total, so we need 8 more half double crochets in the next 8 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Phew, what a round, huh? So these last 2 stitches here, they are the same as these 2 starting stitches here. You are going to repeat everything that we have just done 3 more times. Work your way all the way back around here, and you will omit the last 2 half double crochets. You're going to join to this first half double crochet, fasten off, and secure your ends, and we will meet back for round 20. To begin round 20, we are going to start kind of sorta in the center of the square here. You are going to look for, let's pop over here to this one. You are going to look for the second stitch right before we start getting into these beautiful shells, okay? So it's the second stitch right before that. And we are going to place a standing half double crochet in that stitch. There we go. You're going to place a half double crochet in the next stitch as well. In this chain 1 space, we're going to place 2 half double crochets. Now you're going to skip this next stitch right here. We're only going to be working in between the clusters. So you're going to place a half double crochet in that chain 1 space, not a half. Did I say half? A half double. Half double crochet in between. So there's 1 and then 2 half double. Now we're working between the groupings in the chain space, 2 half double crochets. Skipping this next stitch, 1 half double crochet between them in the chain 1 space, and again for the next one in between those stitches in the chain 1 space, guys. Now we're between groupings. We're going to place 2 half doubles there. Skip that next stitch, 1 half double in that chain space. Skip the next stitch, half double in the chain space. And we're going between groupings, 2 half doubles in that chain 1 space. And now skip that stitch, half double in the chain space. Skip the next stitch, half double in the chain space, and one more time skip that stitch, half double in the chain space. Now it's time to create our new corner, and to do that we are going to place 2 double crochets in the next chain space. So you're going to skip that next stitch and go straight to the chain space, and there's 2, chain 2, and place 2 more double crochets in that same chain space. Turn your work slightly. We're going to place half double crochets in the next 3 chain spaces, skipping over those stitches. It's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're kind of going to do what we did over here, only in reverse. Between the clusters, 2 half double crochets, or between the groupings rather. Skip that stitch, half double crochet, skip the next stitch, half double crochet. Now we're between groupings, 2 half double crochets, skip the next stitch, half double crochet, skip a stitch, half double crochet, between groupings, 2 half doubles, oop, almost, skip the next stitch, half double crochet, skip the next, half double crochet. Now in this grouping, 2 half doubles, okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to skip this first stitch. It's going to be super easy for you because it's hidden anyways because of these 2 half doubles, but we are going to place 8 half double crochets in the next 8 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we've gone 1 past it, but this stitch right here, that one right there, that is the same as this stitch right here. So you're just going to repeat everything that we have done 3 more times. Work your way around. You're going to omit the last 2 half double crochets, and you're going to slip stitch to the standing half double crochet, but do not fasten off because we're going to stay in this color for round 21, and I will meet you there. To begin round 21, we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that counts as our first double crochet. Now we're going to double crochet in the next 20 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now we're at the corner, and in the corner we are going to place 2 double crochets. It's 1, 2, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. Now you are going to work 46 double crochets. That's all the way across 46 double crochets. When you get over here to this corner, you're going to do it the same way, double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets. You're going to work yourself all the way back around on this round, or on this side rather. After you get finished with this corner, you'll have 25 double crochets. You're going to fasten off to the top of the chain 3 here, weave in your ends, and we will meet back for round 22. For round 22, we are going to join with a standing back post double crochet around this last stitch before any corner. Okay, so it doesn't matter which corner you choose, just grab one, and we're going to standing back post double crochet. There we go. And then for our corner, we are going to work 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. This is another very simple round. The whole side here is nothing but back post double crochets. There are 50 of them on each side. So you're just going to work back post double crochets all the way down until you get to the corner. And when you get to the corner, you're going to place 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then repeat all over again. You're going to work yourself all the way back around. When you get over here, you are going to join to the top of this standing back post double crochet, fasten off and weave in your ends, and we will meet back for round 23. To begin round 23, we are going to start 2 stitches before any chain 2 corner space. And we're just going to make a standing single crochet in that second stitch before the corner. So there's our standing single crochet. We're going to single crochet in the next stitch. And then for our corner, we are going to single crochet and then chain 2 and then single crochet. Now this round is really hard, you guys. Single crochet all the way around. 54 stitches on each side. Your corner is single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. You're going to work your way all the way back around until you get over here. So on this side, you are only going to have 52 single crochets because we've taken 2 of them away. You are going to join to the standing single crochet here, fasten off, and then we will meet back for round 24. To begin round 24, we are going to search for the second stitch before any chain 2 corner space, and in that stitch we are going to place a double single crochet. It's not as complicated as it sounds. This is a standing double single crochet, so what you're going to do with your yarn already on your hook, you are going to insert into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook right back into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. Now you're going to chain 1, and we are going to skip this next stitch. In the chain 2 corner space, we are going to double single, so insert your hook, pull up 2 loops, yarn over, back into that same space, yarn over, pull up 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4, chain 1. We're going to put another double single in that corner space, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all of them, chain 1. Now 1 more double single in here. It's going to get a bit cramped, but it's okay. You're going to make it. Pull through all 4. And now we are going to chain 1. Now you're going to skip the next 2 stitches. The first one's going to be super easy for you, but I don't want you to forget about it because it is now hidden behind all of these double single crochets. So that is 1 stitch. That is the 2nd stitch. We are going into this 3rd stitch here, and we are going to place another double single. So insert your hook into that stitch, pull up without getting crazy. There we go. Yarn over, insert back into that same stitch. There you go. And now you are going to chain 1. Now you're going to skip the next stitch, and then in this next stitch we are going to double single again. Oop, without losing your hook. Don't do that. Can it be saved? Yay! Chain 1, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch, double single. This is going to be your repeat for this entire round. The things to note here is that when you start going into a side from a corner, you're going to skip 2 stitches, whereas at the end of our sides before we go into a corner, we're only skipping 1. So I want to point that out to you guys. You're going to be chaining 1, skipping 1, double single crochet all the way down till you get to your corner. Your corner is double single, chain 1, double single, chain 1, double single, and then you will chain 1 and skip 2 stitches. Okay? Repeat that all the way around. When you get over here, you are going to slip stitch to the top of this standing double single crochet and fasten off. We will meet back for round 25. For round 25, you are going to look for your corner. We have these 3 double single crochets separated by chain 1 spaces here. So what you are going to do is you are going to insert your hook in between these 2 double single crochets. There's a chain 1 between them, and make a standing single crochet, and then you are going to place another single crochet in that same chain 1 space. Now you are going to chain 2, and you're going to skip this double single crochet. We're going to be skipping all of these. We're not actually going to work into the double single crochet. We're only going to be working in the chains in between. So this next chain 1 in between these 2 stitches, we're going to place 2 single crochets there. 1 and 2. So that is your new corner right there. That chain 2 space is your new corner. So now for the rest of this round, you are going to skip the double single, and you are going to place 2 single crochets in the chain 1 space. See that little piece of yarn right there? You're going to want to insert your hook to the right of that, not right there, because that's actually going into the stitch. We're working in the chain space, so we need 2 single crochets there. And then skip over to the next chain 1 space, 2 single crochets there. Make sure you're going to the right of that little piece of yarn that's sticking out. Skip 2 single crochets in the chain 1 space. And that's your repeat. That's all you're going to be doing, except for in the corner. Make sure that you are doing that chain 2 right there. It should be right above that center double single in your corners. When you work your way back around here, you are going to slip stitch to the top of this standing single crochet, fasten off, weave in your ends, and we will meet back for round 26. To begin round 26, you are going to locate any stitch before a chain 2 corner space. So that would be this single crochet right there. We're going to place a standing double crochet in that stitch. Standing double crochet. Now in this corner space, we are going to work 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets. That is our new corner. Now you are going to work double crochets all the way down the side. There will be 60 of them. 60 double crochets all the way down the side, and then you will work another corner, which is 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Work your way all the way around, repeating that. When you get back to the beginning, you are going to slip stitch to the top of this standing double crochet here, fasten off, secure in your ends, and we will meet back for round 27. For round 27, you are going to locate the stitch right before any chain 2 corner space, and we're going to start with a standing back post double crochet. Insert, go around there. Back post double crochet. Now in the corner space, we are going to work 2 double crochets. And then chain 2, and then 2 double crochets again in that same corner space. And the rest of this round is pretty straightforward. We are going to work back post double crochets around the next 64 stitches. So all the way across to the next corner, we are going to work back post double crochets. Then you're going to work a corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, more back posts, corner, work all the way around. When you get over here, slip stitch to the top of this standing back post double crochet, but do not fasten off because we're going to stay in this color for round 28, and I will meet you there. To begin round 28, we are going to chain 3, 2, 3, and that counts as a double crochet. We are going to place a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Now for our corner space, we are going to place 2 double crochets. 1, oh, 2 double crochets. Then we're going to work a treble in this same space. And then 2 more double crochets, all in that same corner space. There's 1, and then 2. Now right here, you are going to pause and place a stitch marker in your treble. Don't get sassy and think that you don't need it, because you do. I promise you, you are going to need to mark that treble. You will be hating life the next round if you do not mark it. So I say again, pause, put a stitch marker, put something in there to mark that treble. Trust me. Now you are simply going to double crochet in the next 68 stitches. Don't forget this first hidden stitch right there. Your count will be off and you will be unhappy if you miss that hidden stitch. So it's just double crochets all the way around in your corner spaces. It's 2 double crochets, then a treble, then 2 double crochets, and again, make sure you are marking your treble for the next round. You are going to need it. When you work all the way back around over here to this side, you are going to fasten off to the top of this first chain 3 right here, and cut off your yarn, fasten off, weave in your ends, and we will meet back for round 29. To begin round 29, we are going to be looking for the stitch right before our marked stitch. So it is this stitch right here, and we are going to place a front loop treble right there. So remember, this is the V of our stitch. Right here, we are only going to be working in the front loop of this stitch. Setting the foundation for more folding stitches. So I'm yarning over twice. I come up from underneath my stitches. Some people come in from the top. It doesn't really matter which you do. We're going to place a standing treble there. There we go. Standing treble. Now we're going to remove our stitch marker, but don't put it too far away from you because you're going to need it here again in just a minute. In this next stitch that we've just removed the stitch marker from, we're going to place 3 front loop trebles. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Whenever you're working in the front loop, it always looks kind of crazy while you're working it. That's all right. It's going to do that. It's going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. Now right here you need to pause and you need to come back here to the back. And what you're going to look for is the back loop of the stitch that we just placed those 3 stitches in. Please, please, please do not do this to yourself. Put a stitch marker there, because next round you will be hating life, I promise you. There you go. Stitch marker in the back loop of where we were just working those 3 front loop trebles. That's for next round. You're going to need it. Now what we are going to do is we're going to work a front loop treble in the next 12 stitches. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we're going to chain 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. And we are going to skip the next 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. There is our 17th stitch. We are going to place a front loop treble in that stitch. And we are going to work 16 in total front loop trebles here, so we need 15 more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we're going to chain 26 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Now again, we are going to skip the next 16 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So here is the 17th stitch. We're going to place a front loop treble in that stitch, that 17th stitch. And now we need 12 of these, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Nope, I only got half of that one. We're still at 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And 12. Now this stitch here that we have just finished is the same as this stitch right here. So you are going to repeat everything that we have just done 3 more times. When you get back around here, you are going to slip stitch to the top of this standing front loop treble, and then you are going to fasten off. Make sure you secure in your ends, and we will meet back here for round 30. Okay, to begin round 30, we are going to hunt for the last stitch here that was skipped before any corner right here, and we are going to join in front of the chain. Okay, we are going to join with a standing half double crochet right there, now we are going to work our folding stitches, and for these we are only going to be working in the back loop of the trebles. So grab a darning needle here and I will show you. Here is the V right there. We are only going to be working in the back loop, not through both loops. So we're going to work through the back loop. We're going to insert our hook in the back loop there and then find the corresponding stitch that we worked this treble in, and we're going to be working in the back loop of that stitch. But whenever you put your hook through, make sure you are also grabbing this third loop right there. That's pretty important. You can still do it with just the plain back loop, but if you grab this third loop down here when we're working these stitches, it's much more stable. It's a little bit more of a pain to get your hook into this third loop, as you can see, but it is well worth the time and the effort. It makes your work so much more stable. So that's my little tip for you going through. Let me see, let me not lose my yarn. There we go. All right, so we are going to work half double crochets. Sorry, double crochets. We are going to work folding, nope, half doubles. I was right. Folding half doubles in the next 12 stitches. So picking up the back loop there, I'm going to turn my work around so you guys can see. I'm going for the corresponding stitch right there. There's the back loop, and then here is the third loop. There we go. So we're going to yarn over and pull through all of those. Yarn over, pull through. There we go. That's our first one. So now we need to go for the second one. Make sure, it's very important that you're getting the next stitch, because as you're working these, your stitches will start to pull slightly, and it's very easy to miss one. So you don't want to do that. There's 2, which means we have 10 more before we get to the corner. That's okay. We will get there. Going through that third loop. third loop. I think I am. I don't think I am. Nope, I'm not. There's the third loop. As I said, sometimes it gets tricky. But you can do it. Just take your time. It's not a race. Corresponding stitch through the third loop. Look at that, first shot. Into the next stitch. There we go. We're chugging along, chugging along. There's the next one. Oh, oh, there we go. So how many is that? How many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just a couple more. Okay. And there is the third loop. Here we go. Flipping that around. Here we go. One more left to do, and then we will be at the corner. Come on, third loop. There we go. Okay, now we are at the corner, and what we are going to do for the corner is we're going to take these 3 front loop trebles right here. Remember, we worked them all into the same stitch. We've marked the back loop for us, and that's just to remind us that we are going to be working multiple stitches into that same loop. Okay, we're going to work 2 folding half double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then on our third one we are going to make a folding double crochet, and then we are going to mark that double crochet. So let me take out this stitch marker here, place that off to the side. All right, half double going into this next stitch. We can find it. See, I moved it. I moved it and I lost it. Hang on. I can figure out where my last stitch went. There it went. Pulling this back around. Okay, so there is the next one. So we are going to insert our hook. See, even I have issues. This next one is a folding half, and it's going into the same space. Make sure you're working in the same space. And then this last one is a double crochet, not a half double, and it's going into that same space too. And it does get a little bit tight, but that's okay. Now we're going to work 12 more folding half doubles on the other side. And that one is going to pinch a little bit because we just worked all of those stitches into that one. So you may miss that Just be careful not to do so. I've worked one more stitch here, so we're going to pause and we are going to place a stitch marker in that treble, or the double rather. This one right here is a double. It's really hard to see when you're coming back around, so that's why we are placing a stitch marker right there, because it's very close with these folding stitches and it's getting covered up with the decoration. It's really hard to tell what's going on. All right, so we need 11 more folding half double crochets. Let's get in there. Get these done. Come on, third loop. Half doubles. Did I just get that one? Yeah, I just got that one. This round can get a little bit tricky, but you can do it. I have faith in you. I'm looking for my stitch. And praying that I do not skip one, because it's really easy to do, and then what will happen is your folding stitches will start leaning, and you don't want them to lean if you're not doing the corresponding stitch right behind it. There's my third loop. There we go. Whew. Almost, guys. This moves a little bit slower. Okay, it moves a lot slower, but that's okay. It's better to move slower than have to frog later and redo it. Almost. Two more. That's it, just two more. Come on. Oh, oh. See, I almost did something bad there. Did you see? This is the next stitch. Almost placed two in the same stitch. Super easy to do here, guys. You got to be really careful. All right, here is the last one. It's getting a bit squirrely with me. It doesn't want to stay still. Here is the last one. And I say last one like we're finished with them. We're not. Okay, so here we have this massive chain 26, right? What we're going to do here looks a lot more complicated than what it actually is. We're going to work in front of the chain, and we're going to place 2 half double crochets in the next 2 stitches in front of the chain. Now we're going to pull the chain in front, and we are going to work in this next stitch, but we're pulling the chain forward, okay? And we're going to place a half double crochet in the next stitch. Now push the chain back, half double crochet in the next stitch. Pull the chain forward, half double crochet in the next stitch, and this sometimes is going to be difficult for you to see, but there is a half double crochet. It's getting pulled right now because of my tension, but we've already worked this stitch. This is the stitch that we're going into. Half double crochet, yes, push it back, half double crochet, pull the chain forward, work a half double crochet in the next stitch. Oop. That wasn't right. Half double crochet. Now push it back. Now we are going to work a half double crochet in front of the chain and another half double crochet in front of the chain. Let me rearrange here just a little bit. Half double crochet. So we have 2 half double crochets there. See, that's the effect that we are going for. So now we are going to push the chain forward and work a, make sure you're looking to make sure this is the stitch that we are going for. This will get a little bit tougher because the chain's getting shorter. Half double behind, push it forward, half double in front of the chain. Bring this forward again, half double worked behind the chain, push it forward, half double, wait, did I skip a stitch? I think I did. Two, three, 1, 2. I did. See how easy it is when you're working. Okay, half double in front there. I skipped that stitch and I went into that stitch and I wasn't supposed to. Half double behind, and now we have 2 stitches left. Half double, half double. Now we have folding stitches, just like we have done these right here. I'm not going to make you sit through watching me do it because it's super hard for me to flip everything back around for you, and I'm sure it's annoying for you guys as well, but I have shown you the main portion of everything. Right here, you are going to work 16 folding half double crochets. Remember, they all go into their corresponding back loops. Don't forget to pick up the 3rd loops. Then with this chain space right here, you work it exactly like we just did right there. And then when you get to here, this stitch right here is exactly the same as this first stitch right here that we made. So it should be pretty easy for you to go through and complete the rest of this by yourself. You're just going to repeat this all the way around. When you get over here, you are going to join with a slip stitch to the top of this standing half double crochet, but do not fasten off because we're going to stay in this color for round 31. To begin round 31, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That is going to count as a double crochet. Now we're going to double crochet in the next 14 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now in this marked stitch, which is our next stitch, we can take out this stitch marker. This is going to be our new corner, and we are going to place 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. And that is going to be our new corner. Now the rest of this round, you're going to be happy to hear, is nothing but double crochets all the way down the side. The next 74 stitches, you are going to work double crochets. In your marked stitch, you are going to work another corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then start it all over again. You're going to work your way all the way back around, and when you get to this chain 3, you are going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. You're going to fasten off, but you may want to wait to weave in your ends until the next round. We're going to work some post stitches on the next and final round, and I will see you then. To begin round 32, which is our final round for this portion, you are going to start with a standing back post double crochet around the last stitch before any chain 2. Let's make our standing back post double crochet. There we go. Now in this corner space, we are going to work 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets, all in that same chain space. Now for the last repeat. You guys ready for this? 78 back post double crochets. That's what this last round is. Back post double crochets all the way across. When you get to your corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. You make your way back around over here. You're going to connect to this first standing back post double crochet, and then you're going to fasten off, weave in your ends, and you will be all done with part 1. And here we are, the completed square. The completed square worked with a 4mm crochet hook, and DK weight yarn is 20 inches. So I cannot get it all into frame, but this is what it looks like. I still need to block this, which will probably make it even bigger, but hey, it is what it is. So that's what the completed square looks like, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for part 1, and I will see you next week for part 2. Please don't forget to leave a thumbs up for this video and subscribe if you haven't done so already.